Hey guys, Eileen here from Homegrown Happiness. Welcome to July. The top garden is looking so bare right now. This is the first year that I've had other vegetable gardens around the place and I haven't had to rely solely on the top garden. I'm glad because things are pretty slow up there. My parsnips are slowly coming along. Obviously if they had sun they'd be faster, but I'm looking forward to harvesting some baby parsnips sometime in the future. Next year I think I'm going to be sowing them in the front bottom garden because that one gets sun, and I'd like to have parsnips be a decent size and a little bit quicker next time, not next year. I'll be sowing them later on this year. But as far as growing root crops in these no-dig beds goes, they actually grow really well. Like these are my carrots here. They've been here in the garden, I think in March I sowed those. So they're taking their time, they're still baby carrots, and again they get no sun, so they're not very big, but the root itself grows really well. You can see that little taproot, how nice and long it is. And all that was added to the clay soil that was there initially are just layers of compost and mulch that over time have broken down. I've been sowing more seeds in preparation for spring, some radishes, some mesclun, some lettuce. It's been a really warm winter so far. Last month I thought it was getting colder and then it keeps staying warm, which is fine sometimes, but I do really want a winter because the cold that comes with that is really beneficial to a lot of plants. But I do have a lot of self-seeded potatoes that are still growing because they haven't had a frost to knock them back, so that's cool. Free crops. This is my cauliflower patch. We've been harvesting from this a lot lately. The cauliflowers in here are nearly all gone, just a few left, and I've also sown some broad beans in between just to put some nitrogen back into the soil once the cauliflowers are finished. Because it's been so warm and wet, I've found rust already on my leeks, which was really gutting. It's not looking good for my garlic because rust spreads really quickly, alien rust, so it can affect your leeks and garlic and onions and all that. On another note though, I've been simulating the cold for the garlic by adding some crushed blended ice around the plants. It's a hard neck variety, so they do need cold to establish good bulbs, and because it's just really not cold here at the moment, I'm just seeing if putting ice around actually works. I'm only doing it on half my garlic, not the other half, just so I can do a direct comparison. Next year I probably will go back to doing soft neck garlic, which is way more suited for my climate, but I did just want to try hard neck garlic because I've never tried it before, and you only learn through experiment. As for the rust, I'm trying out Condy's crystals, otherwise known as potassium permanganate. It's an oxidizing agent, so it should kill the rust spores. I haven't tried this before as well, so this is going to be a first time for everything. If you have tried it and it worked or didn't work, let me know in the comments. The warm, wet season means slugs and snails are still out and about. There's no hard frosts that have put them to sleep yet, so I am on slug and snail patrol still quite a bit. I go out a couple times a week, not every night, but I go out a few times a week at night with a torch and some gloves and my gumboots, and I pick them up and I squash them. I think this is by far the best method to control them, because in general my garden isn't suffering too badly from slug and snail damage, and considering how much mulch I use, it really could be, so obviously my means of control is working. And the rest of the top garden is chugging along slowly and steadily. My December sown broccoli has really slowed down with producing the side florets, so we are now eating the plants. We're eating the leaves and the stems, and then also the stalk, not the entire stalk. We leave quite a bit at the bottom because that goes really hard, but we take the main part of the top and then just peel that fibrous outer layer off. And the roots I leave in the soil to break down, and then the remaining stem I do break up a little bit because it is so hard. It's easier for worms and other organisms to break it down if they can get inside it. And fortunately I have so much more broccoli coming because of my other gardens that I have. So this is broccoli in the bottom garden next to the shed, and I was wrong about this garden. I thought it got some sun in winter, but it gets actually none at all, so quite wrong. But it did get sun in autumn, so the broccoli was already a pretty good size. And now the heads are just growing nice and tall and skinny, which is the broccoli that I'm used to. So this bed I've actually just recently extended using cardboard, H manure and mulch. You can see where the brassicas are in the middle, that's where I started, and I've just extended around. I grew sweet corn here last year and that did really well, so it does get quite good summer sun, so I'm excited to see what I can grow here in summer this year. So now we're in the front garden, and this one does actually get quite good sun for winter, so it gets like about 45 minutes in the morning, not the entire garden, it moves across, and then another hour and a half or so between 12 and 1:30. So I've got broccoli here too, and it's actually looking a little bit more like broccoli should. Nice and wide open plants as opposed to tall, skinny, reaching for the light. This garden I've actually also extended. I've added in a strawberry patch. I've thinned out the strawberries in the top garden and brought lots of the plants down. I needed some soil to bulk up this area because I was running out of compost, so I emptied one of my yam bins here so I could use the soil from there. So those New Zealand yams, or known as oca, so I used that soil in there as the base, and then I bulked it up with some more compost and manure and whatever else I had around, and then I planted in my strawberries. So I'm keen to see how the strawberries do here in summer. I might actually get some nice decent sized ones. My June garlic has sprouted, which is what I planted in last month's video. So this garden in general is just doing really well. It's definitely my most attractive winter garden that I've ever had, and things are all looking relatively normal. And then on the other side of the house by our front door, there's a little section where I've just replanted the blueberry bushes that were at the top garden. I moved those down there because they weren't doing great at the top garden, so I will see how they do down here. So here's the front garden in the morning, enjoying that 45 minutes of sun, and so are the chickens. So my chicks are 100% free range, and usually they're pretty good. I don't struggle with them too much. They never go to the top garden. Lazy chicks, it's probably too far for them, but they like the brassica patch and then the front garden, and they do nibble at the leaves, but they tend to leave the heads of my broccoli and stuff alone, so I don't mind sharing the leaves. In the front garden there are a couple of things I have netted, or you've used chicken wire, and I've only just recently discovered that they have been eating my pea seeds that I planted by that trellis. So I've recently resown some pea seeds, and I've just covered it with a grate that I found in the shed. It's for our fire pit, but it fits perfectly in this pea trellis thing. My chicken Smiley has been suffering from scaly leg mite. So scaly leg mite are these mites that burrow into the scales on the chicken's feet. It's really uncomfortable for them. So we've been treating that by washing her feet just gently to get the dirt out that is like stuck in the scales. And I've been lathering on castor oil, because castor oil is quite a healing oil, and the oil itself will smother the mites and their eggs, but then it also has lots of healing properties to heal her legs a little bit quicker. And we've also been treating the other chicks' legs too, because it is a really contagious mite. And then we're just going to keep repeating that a couple of times a week. It takes a while for the old scales to fall off and grow new ones, but once they do, then I can see that the mites have gone. And that's it for July's video. See you next time. Thanks for watching.